Good morning, guys. It is 5 in the morning today. We are heading out to Nankina to do 5 flights. So we've got all kinds of material for Mibu airstrip that we're gonna be dropping off, and then they're gonna be doing helicopter shuttles from Nankina over to Mibu. So let's go ahead and get started. Well, we already loaded up yesterday afternoon, so let's just jump back over to yesterday so you guys can see how we loaded these things up. All right, so they're just loading my plane right now. I've got 2 drums of Jet A fuel in there for the helicopter sling loads, as well as this mesh that you see that they're loading right now. So basically what that mesh is Mibu. It's going to an airstrip called Mibu that is very soft. So they're gonna put this mesh down with also this kind of felt stuff and then put dirt over, I guess, and grass is gonna grow. But basically it evens all of the weight out. Just because the ground's so soft and the way it's designed, the airstrip is designed, it's just continually being soft. So this is really the only solution for us to ever even be able to open up Mibu. Well, we finished up loading up all 3 of the Kodiaks. I think it's a total of like 2,800 kgs or something, and we still have 2 more loads to go. So tomorrow morning we'll head out at dawn, and then 2 of the airplanes will come back, load up again, and then head back out for a second one. We've got 5 more minutes before first light is coming up. That's when we can legally take off. So I'm gonna go ahead and start up now, start taxiing to the top, and get out of here.
Tower, good morning. November Tango Kilo. Request taxi Nankina 1 POB.
November Tango Kilo, Grow Tower, monitor right. Taxi to runway 17 right, 10 backtrack 17 left. Wind is calm, QH 1019, temperature 16, time 56. And caution, we have the safety vehicle on the runway carrying out the runway inspections.
Good morning, Roland. 1019er, clear to backtrack 17 left for 17 right. November Kilo. First light is in 1 minute, which makes us legal to take off. Basically here in PNG you have to wait. You're not allowed to fly at night unless it's like an emergency or something. So we have done medevacs and stuff at night before. We're only down to Port Moresby where they have an instrument approach. I'm thankful that there is no fog this morning. And I'm hoping that will be the case when I get back here as well.
Not today.
November Tango Kilo will be ready for departure on lineup.
November Tango Kilo, 17 right, make left turn, clear for takeoff.
17 right, make left turn, clear for takeoff. November Tango Kilo. Fork is set, airspeed is alive. There's 50 knots continuing. There's 62 knots and rotate. And it's a beautiful morning. Oh, it looks like we've got a nice clear passage right out that way towards the Bennett Gap. So we'll make a left-hand turn here in a minute so we just don't get into all this low scuzzy clouds. For over 85 knots, we'll go 10 degrees of flap, start making our left-hand turn out towards the Bennett Gap. Oh man, nice pink sky coming up, that's awesome. We'll turn TAWs off just because we're now low to the ground, closer to terrain. We don't want Betty yelling at us as we're climbing up to the Bennett Gap. So all this cargo here that you see packed very tightly in here today, it's just 711 kgs today, got a little bit underneath as well. It's going out to an airstrip called Mibu, which they've been working, like, no joke, like 25 years on working on this airstrip, like on and off obviously, but it's been like a 25-year process when they first started. We finished it up a couple years ago, but the ground, the way it's designed and the way the water would always run down, there's a kind of a low spot, not really a low spot, but a place where all the water collects and makes the ground continually just soggy and mushy. Oh, that is a beautiful sight, let me tell you. It doesn't get much better than that. I just snapped some really awesome pictures of this. I'm gonna throw it on a mug for you guys because, oh man, it is such an awesome view. To be able to wake up to that every day on a coffee mug, whew, doesn't get much better than that. Well, that low spot you see way out there that my nose is pointed to, that's the Nahu Gap. We're heading straight towards that. That gets me through basically that whole mountain range right at 11,000 feet. Then I can drop on down into Nankina, which is around like 5,000 feet for the touchdown zone, somewhere around there. But we just departed Goroka here. We're heading out here to these gaps and then coming in here to Nankina. So we'll come through this little gap right here at 11,000, then we'll drop on down from there. Let's bring up the strip chart so you guys can see what I'm expecting once I get there. So the elevation there, well, touchdown here you can see on the corner is basically 5,400 feet. So I'm going to set up my pattern altitude at 6,400 feet. And once I cross this gap right here, then I'll be going down probably, I think, around 800 feet per minute to get to that by the time I get there. So it's a 10% slope. It's a pretty decent sized hill. It's 540 meters long. We're not 100% full up, so we could land a little bit with some tailwind today, a couple knots probably, but this early in the morning, I doubt that there's going to be any wind at all. Right now, it looks like the winds are coming out right from behind me, kind of quartering tailwind. So might get some updrafts on this side of the mountains, and then right when we get out on the other side, it's probably going to be really bumpy for 30 seconds or so until we get out of that kind of turbulent air, and then it should be nice going into Nankina. We're starting our descent now. We're at the top. It's actually a lot smoother than I was expecting. We've still got 16 knots, 17 knots more or less on our tail. Oh, there's all the bumps starting to get into them. That's more what I was thinking. I'm going to go out a little bit further away. Normally I just skirt along the edge of these. I'm just going to go out just a tiny bit further just so it's not just rocking me all the way there for the next 25 miles. If we get basically about 1.5 miles, 2 miles away from the edge of these, then all those winds that are swirling over top of it, it should basically go down to
traffic.
The reason why I'm doing a dawn departure, not just to get the awesome sunrise today, but basically going into Nankina, a lot of times this whole mountain range will just cloud up pretty early in the morning, and a lot of just fog will get packed in, and then we can't get into Nankina. We can always get out, because as you'll see, we can do instrument departures out of there because it just basically drops off and to nothingness out to the ocean. You're like 5,000 foot up, so you can get out of there pretty easy. See if I can't fly over Mibu so that you guys can see what it looks like, where all this material is actually going to. And the helicopter shuttle ride that they're going to be doing all these sling loads in is only like a 4-minute flight over there, but it's a 12-hour hike. I mean, if you look at these mountains, it's crazy. They're just going up and down, up and down. So yeah, it's like, I think equivalent to 4 or 5 miles, but it takes 12 hours of hiking. So that's why aviation is so needed here in Papua New Guinea. I've got 17 knots of tailwind coming in this way, so that's not good considering my runway is this way, and I've got 17 knots coming in this way. I'm hoping that once we get down kind of out of this more or less jet stream, the mountains will block some of that and I won't have a tailwind on landing. Oh yeah, there we go. Flying directly over top of Mibu. So you can see Nankina off there in the distance. Here's Mibu. So yeah, it's only 1 minute and 40 seconds in the airplane, or a 12-minute hike, or a 12-hour hike. That is insane. But let me look at the sheer cliff. We got 1, 2 mountain ranges to go over, plus 1, 2, 3 valleys. We're down to 7 knots on the tail now. That's great. We've already lost 10 knots just in 1,000 feet. Moresby 6622, November, Tango, Kilo, in the circuit Nankina, cancel SAR. Looks nice out, looks like they've cut. All right, 10 degrees of flaps. We'll worry about canceling our SAR once we're on the ground. Prop and harness is done. Flaps to go and landing clearance, which is my SAR. We'll worry about that later. 1 mile out, let's turn our downwind. We're slowing to 91 knots. So we're beam the numbers, 10 degrees of flap, or correction, 20 degrees of flaps. Turn final at 5840. 81 knots now for our base. There is my turning final. I'm a little bit low already, so I'm just going to hold my altitude just for a second. Basically at this river below me is where I want to be for turning final. There's full flaps, checklist is complete. Slowing to 71 knots. We're going to match the slope before we reduce power flare.
1239 on November, tank back up.
A wind, that's awesome. Oh, no, it's a headwind actually.
500.
We are committed to land. Oh, it's a little muddy out. Look how rough it is. It actually messed up my ARs. That's pretty crazy. Anyways, I'm going to shut down. Stay tuned. We've got more stuff to come. We've got another plane coming here to land in just 1 second. We've got coffee to pick up. We've got a ton of stuff to unload and prepare for the helicopter.
Here at Nankina, it is a beautiful morning as always out here. The other plane just did a nice cool flyover. We just unloaded the first airplane. Now we're getting done to my airplane. The helicopter's already here. Again, he's going to be slinging all this stuff over there. I think we've got 2,800 some kgs in total to go over there, so quite a few shuttles. Alright, first plane's heading back to Goroka right now, picking up his second load, and then the next plane's coming out here. So we're just gonna go ahead and start packing up all the coffee now. I don't know how many bags there are yet. But wait, Lily, you can just let him sleep in the ground now yet. You know, finish ready mo something inside the balus yet. So each bag of coffee is about 50 kgs or 110 pounds. And I think I don't know how many bags they have here yet, but I'm guessing probably 10 to 13 bags or so. The helicopter's just starting up. Like I said, he's just heading over on like a 2 or 3 minute flight over to Mibu, and he's already got his first load all hooked up and ready to go.
I can circle around if you want, if you're ready to depart earlier. Blades are turning now. Copy that.
All right, let's get out of here before the helicopter comes.
I'll just circle around, let you go.
Sounds good. All right, well, first load was successful. We got another plane that just landed in here just a second ago. Helicopter's coming in right this second. He's just gonna hover for a second, I think, and then I'm gonna get out of here. All stations Nankina 1239er, November Tango Kilo will be departing for Goroka. All stations Nankina. Alright, starting a little bit further on down today, but that is alright. Pretty much committed once brakes are released because it's so muddy out today. My trim always set up now. After takeoff, pitch for 85, consider PL, consider feather, 80 full flaps, down to lower terrain. Eventually managed to crack my door. There we go. Watch out, dog. Almost got that one. Go left-hand turn, start climbing up to around 12,000 feet to jump over top of these mountains right here. Switch for 100 knots just because that's going to be our best rate of climb. And we're not too heavy today, but we should be able to fit right through that gap right over there, hopefully. We'll see. Moresby 6622, November Tango Kilo departure.
Kilo 3, go ahead.
November Tango Kilo departed Nankina on the hour, tracking to 51 and climb 12,000, estimating Goroka time 28 and copy traffic Sierra into hotel.
November Tango Kilo 13 copied on departure time will climb 1,000. No additional reported traffic.
November Tango Kilo. That was a bit rushed getting out of there, just to be able to get out of there before the helicopter came, and I was hoping to get out of there before the other airplane came, but that's alright. So we're heading back to Goroka. I've got a whole other load. This one's not going to be quite as much, so I think it's only going to be maybe 300 kgs as opposed to 700 kgs for the last one. But nonetheless, I got to get this out of here so that the helicopter can finish up all of his flights over here, right over here to Mibu. So you can kind of see those lines on the airstrip a little bit. That's the area that they're going to be working. From what I've been told, they'll dig up the ground, not that much, put that down, put the felt down, I think over top of it, maybe underneath, I don't know. Put the dirt back on top, and then grass grows. And basically, when weight, if it sinks or if weight is on it, it evens it out because it's this big mesh, like plastic thing. So, anyways, I'm really hoping that this will fix the problem at Mibu, that we can start using the airstrip maybe next year, because it really does look like an awesome airstrip to be able to land on. But you guys saw me loading up coffee. Well, I wasn't loading up coffee. Those guys were loading up their coffee. I've learned a lesson that it's not worth throwing out your back so you can load up their coffee. So they can throw out their backs for their coffee. But anyways, we fly out their coffee whenever we possibly can. If we've got available space, then we throw coffee on wherever we are. We are trying to help them out, but it also helps us out a little bit because it helps pay for the back load as an empty flight going back to Goroka. So after these bags get to Goroka, someday maybe I'll make a video on this, but we have so many coffee factories in the Goroka area. They take them, sell them to those places, a distributor, and then they'll either export it to the States or Europe or wherever else in the raw form, or we also have some companies that actually roast it and then ship it out. If you're ever doing any mountain flying, the way you can tell if you actually are going to be able to cross the ridge, because sometimes it's hard to tell, especially if you're in a climb, is if you're seeing more and more of the ground on the other side, that means that you're high enough that you can actually cross it safely. If you're seeing less and less as you're getting closer, that means you're not high enough. You'd think it'd be intuitive, but sometimes it's not. If you're watching this video and you are a part of donating for this Mibu project, a huge thanks to you. I wasn't part of that at all, but it definitely helps us as well as the people out in Mibu. So thank you if you guys are a big donor for that. They were able to raise, I think, $42,000 or something for this project, which is a huge project. A lot went into it to be able to get these materials shipped over here, and the manpower to bring it in as well as the manpower to install it all. So huge thanks for everybody that was involved. If you guys like these sunglasses, I've got them on my website. I'm getting actually a new style as well, just kind of the standard aviator as well, because my wife doesn't like these, but she likes those. So I said, okay, I'll get you some of those. So anyways, if you guys are interested in picking some of these up, I've got them on stock in silver and gold. The glass lenses, these ones are not polarized just because I don't want to have to mess around with the different screens. Some polarized work well with the G1000, some don't. Some you have to like kind of twist a certain ways if you don't see the whole thing. It kind of halfway blurs it out or blacks it out. Anyways, yeah, go check them out. We got them really well priced for you guys at just $100, and they do have worldwide shipping as well. So if you're in Europe or Australia or anywhere really, I can also ship it to you guys. Alright, it's got a text from Goroka. It says, fog in Goroka, clear from the north end, but airstrip is fogged in. Alright, well that's no good. So I've got 17 minutes to go. I'm going to see if I can send them a text and ask them how thick the fog is. If not, what we can do, there is an airstrip right down there in Kodiak. I could go land there, wait the fog out if need be. Alright, he just sent me another text and it says, you can get into the valley easy from the north, but getting visual after stabilizing will be hard. Advise calling the tower. I've got more than enough fuel. I could actually all go down all the way down to Madang even after I get in there, but what do I want to do? I'm going to ask them if the fog is to the ground. Because sometimes when you're on the ground, it's you can't tell how high up the fog is. Is there actually some holes or not? So sometimes it looks worse on the ground than it actually is. Well, just so I don't get stuck on top of this layer here that they're talking about into the Goroka Valley, I'm going to go ahead and start my descent now. It's a little early, but I want to get through the Bennett Gap, which I'm seeing it looks like it's open right now. And it looks like I can even kind of see underneath the layer down into the Goroka Valley. So I'll start my descent now just so I can hopefully get underneath of that. What my plan is if I'm not able to land in Goroka, I'll immediately turn right back around and head out here to Kodiak. It's only about a 15-minute flight, and by the time I get to Goroka, just to give you an idea of how much fuel I have on board, when I arrive at Goroka, I'll still have an hour and a half of fuel on board, so I've got more than enough. Company requirements, we want to land with an hour's worth of fuel, which is 320 pounds, so even if I go there, I can come to Kodiak, land, and then still get back there and still land with my 1 hour reserve. This is the Bennett Gap right here. It's open. We'll see what it looks like once I get around this little cloud layer. The valley doesn't look too bad. There's some scuzzy kind of low clouds here and there. The other pilot just told me that the north end of the runway is clear, but the south end, which is very typical, has fog all the way to the ground. But he thinks I might be able to still land maybe some longer or something like that on the long runway. We'll start slowing on down now. Over to tower. I won't be able to pick them up until I get around this corner though. Also going to hit OBS. I'm going to OBS my runway. Big runway. Just because there is fog, I might not be able to see the full runway the whole time. So it's really nice to have an OBS line right there. Also, it looks like I got a helicopter down there as well. Goroka Tower, November Tango Kilo.
November Tango Kilo, Goroka Tower. Flying again.
Flying again, rolling. November Tango Kilo, 7.6 miles.
500.
7,700. Your circuit time, 26.
November Tango Kilo, track 4 right main, so report short final, 35 right.
Short final for 35 right, and we'll advise if I need to get the other one, if I need to get the long runway or not. November 10 Kilo.
November 10 Kilo.
20 degrees of flaps, prop forward. Let's go 20 degrees of flaps. All right, I've got the runway in sight. Well, the end of the runway. You need to go around, power up 20 degrees, pitch for 73, maneuvers required, and 749 IGT, prop and harness.
Actually, Tango off, slow time 45. Charlie, take up.
All right, looks like kind of broken clouds everywhere. We'll see if we can wiggle our way down through them, not getting ourselves into too much, but I think we'll be able to wiggle through it. Going to be turning final 5600. 58 now. This is actually looking good, even though I can't even see the runway at all. I have a line right there knowing exactly that I'm perpendicular with it. Now I'm just starting to see. Let's do full flaps. This is complete.
500.
Right up to this layer right here. Oh yeah, we can get in easy. November Kilo on a close right base.
From 10 Kilo, you happy with 35 right?
Hey, firm.
From 10 Kilo, runway 35 right, clear to land.
Clear to land 35 right, November Kilo. All right, checklist is complete. I see it looks probably way worse on the ground for them, but we can see holes as we're coming in, so let me just keep my speed and height for a second. There we go. That worked out well.
Mike Charlie, take us 6 miles from the field. Tracking back inbound, 7,000. Tracking due overhead again. Mike Charlie, Tango. Alright, 7,000 and optional wall at 45. Tango.
There we go. I love when it works out like that. See what I mean? It's clear at this end of the runway, fog at that end of the runway, which is extremely typical for here at Goroka. Anyways, thank you so much. I hope you guys did enjoy this another of a kind video. A little bit more on the ground content, so leave a comment down below. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. If you didn't enjoy it, leave a comment down below.
Thank you, Ryan. At your convenience, so would you give us an appreciation the Stratus fork on the approach?
Yeah, it's sitting probably about 150 feet off. It is kind of broken to scattered. It looks worse on the ground than it does from the air, but yeah, there are some holes as you get close to the runway.
Number 10 Kilo, much appreciated.
Oh, I've got one more load to load up, get out of here, back to Nankina, and then I'll be done for the day. So thanks so much for taking the time, guys, and see you guys next time.